Yo, what is going on, guys? It is Fifakill, as you know, and today we're going to have you as a monster of a gameplay and something that I promised. Well, not exactly this. It was actually a little bit better than what I thought I was going to get. Now, like I said before, I'm going to be bringing you nukes on all of the newest DLC maps. I already did Citadel. That was a game with playing with 2 other Doom members, and in this game, I was playing with just one of my buddies, and I dropped a double nuclear, so you know, you're getting the 2-for-1 deal, you're getting double what you know, were supposed to get on the map Micro. Now, this is probably the most famous of the maps coming out. Obviously, you have the standoff remake, which is pretty big as well, but in terms of advertisement, this one is probably the most famous one. It is obviously the map with the giant burgers and all the fast food around a family picnic table that you've basically been shrunk down, and it becomes the map. Now, this map's really cool. The idea behind it was really cool. The colors are really good. It's very colorful, exciting, you know, aesthetically pleasing map. And, you know, the first couple times I played it, I really didn't think it played well. I thought it looked good and it was a cool idea, but the map itself wasn't very good. Now, however, upon further inspection and playing it a lot more, I actually have grown to love this map, and it did indeed get me a double. Now, something really interesting about this gameplay was that I was only playing with one person, and that of course was my friend Ruben. You guys will see him in the game with me. But the coolest thing about this is that me and him were not actually talking at the time. Something went wrong with our Skype call just before the game, and I told him I'd call him back after the game. So we weren't talking the entire game, and yet, you know, he's just a really good support runner and had my back a couple times. But you know, the majority of the game I'm just kind of chilling on my own, running around doing my thing. But there was a few times he came in clutch, so I appreciate him for that. But yeah, I was pretty much solo the majority of the game, and it was only with one other person. But yeah, I haven't played the maps very much, I guess, especially this map. It seems to me I can only get Rupture and Outlaw, which is the standoff remake, and the Outskirts remake, which is unfortunate because I'd say those two are my least favorite. Citadel and this, of course, Micro being the other 2 maps, these 2 are my favorite. Now, as you guys saw in the Citadel video, I have found some really nice spawn traps on that map where you can just keep killing them off the spawn, and at points in this game, as you'll see, I managed to do pretty much exactly the same. Now, I know that if I had a full team and I got together, we all like practice and we found a way to do it, there could be some crazy gameplays on this map where you just pretty much run around the spawn finessing everyone and get like a ton of kills, you know, maybe even more than 2 nukes in one game, which would obviously be insane, especially for a DLC map. But you know, we'll see. But yeah, I definitely think 100 plus is possible on most of these maps, pretty much all but Rupture, I believe. Rupture is my least favorite, and if you guys don't know anything about that yet, it's a remake of the map Outskirts from World at War, and you know, they've replaced the tanks that were originally in that map with these kind of mech suits, and it's kind of like Titanfall. However, these mech suits completely dominate the game and ruin the flow of the map. It would otherwise be a really nice map. However, there are 4 on the map, and it seems to me that most of the time a team will take control and then they'll have all 4 of the mech suits. Now, this is going to be a problem because 4 mech suits with pretty much infinite range turrets is going to end up meaning that they can get some pretty decent map control, and there's really no way you can go at that point, and it just becomes pretty boring. The only way I found to, you know, even go on somewhat of a good streak is either travel around the outskirts of Outskirts, see what I did there, or sit up in the tower. However, once you go up in that tower, you make yourself a target, and I've gone on some nice streaks up there with snipers and stuff. However, after like a load of kills in a road, people start to get the idea. They'll pull out a sniper, and then they know exactly where you are, and you've got to try and, you know, locate them. So that's obviously not going to go as well for you. So Rupture's not my favorite, and I've never liked remakes of games, especially going from boots to ground to the jetpacking we have now. But you know, they did a pretty good job with it, I guess. It's just not my favorite, but I'm sure there could be some nice spawn traps on there as well, just because of how small the map is, and you can pretty much get from one side to the other in about 10 seconds, which is insane. Obviously, in a game of Call of Duty, if you've got 12 people running around this map, everybody can get from one side to the other in 10 seconds. There's going to be a lot of action going on, and that's what, you know, we see with that map. However, still don't like it and don't know the spawns, but I didn't like Black Ops 2 either, so it's probably just my past self, you know, not liking the map standoff in the original. It was probably one of the best maps in the game, but yeah, I just still didn't like it. But anyway, that's pretty much my opinion on the maps, so I just wanted to run through that quickly. Do let me know what you guys think of the maps. I haven't played the zombie map yet, probably going to do that a little bit today or tomorrow, hopefully. I can't wait. People are currently doing the Easter eggs on Twitch and stuff right now. I think the first step to it has been found, but not much else, which is pretty surprising considering we're like like 2 or 3 days already in. At this point, you know, usually all the DLC, the Easter eggs and stuff is done, which is insane. But this time it seems to be taking a lot longer, which is no surprise when you do take a look at the actual map itself. It is a merge of every map in Call of Duty history, pretty much. You know, there's little snippets of each map, kind of like you go back into memories, and you know, it's crazy. And I'm sure whenever people do figure out what the overall Easter egg is going to be absolutely insane, and it's just going to be really, really cool to watch. To do yourself is probably going to be amazing as well, and I may even upload a video of me doing that, or, you know, upload a stream or something. I don't really know how that's going to go, but I can't wait to play that map, and it does look like a lot of fun, especially the idea of them having loads of parts put together, because if you guys remember, back in Black Ops 2, you had transit. Now, in transit, if you jumped off by the cornfield off the top of the bus, then you could run through the cornfield, and you could get back to Natchdon Taunton, which was the first ever zombies map back in World at War. Now, there is also the exact same snippet of that map in this one. However, there's also snippets from every single map in the game. Now, the cool thing is they've taken like really good parts from like fan favorite parts from each map, and that's just, they chose the good bits of each map. For example, you know, Kino de Tone, which was the first original Black Ops 1 map, the one with the stage where everybody got like 100+ rounds and stuff, like pretty crazy stuff for back then. They took the stage and they made that the part from Kino, and there's teleporters and all different cool ways and routes of getting to each part of this massive, huge map. And it's just a really cool idea. It's definitely very fun to play, and I'm sure whatever happens with it is going to be really cool. And obviously that means that all the weapons from, like, all the, you know, weapons come back from the parts. For example, you know, the Thunder Gun's back, the weapon from Shadows of Evil's back, and it's just all in one game, which is just really, really crazy. And I'm sure some extremely high rounds are going to be coming in on that at some point. But, you know, I don't really like to talk about zombies too much. Obviously, I play zombies a lot and do that, but I feel like people on my channel prefer to watch me get gameplay, and that's exactly what I have for you guys with this video. Obviously, going off, getting the double. I think I prefer the second streak. I definitely came in really clutch. You guys will see there's about 3 seconds left on the clock when I get the last kill for the nuke, which was really lucky. I remember looking at the mini-map and seeing on the hater that people are spawning and then dying to my teammates, and just really having to make a choice of which side of the map to run to. And then I got really lucky that the people spawned just around the corner from me, and that ended up getting me the nuke, which was crazy lucky. It was really, really action-packed, and my heart was beating so fast. And at the end of the game, honestly, I was worried I was going to pass out. Like, I was going in the whole game. My heart was beaten, and I had no one to talk to, and I was just pretty much hoping that my team would do what I wanted to. But luckily, you know, the guy I was with did help me out, and the randoms we were playing with didn't cap out the ball. They didn't do anything too stupid, and, you know, they did steal my kills a couple times, but it could have gone a lot worse. And, you know, I can't really complain because I got a double nuke. I also went 63-1, which does result in a 63 KD. Now, you guys may be thinking, how did you only get 2 unstoppables if you got 2 nukes and went 63-1? Now, this is because I killed someone, well, I shot them and then they jumped off the map, so I get the kill for it. However, it doesn't count towards any streaks or anything like that, which is unfortunate, and it is the reason I've lost a lot of nuke touts in the past. But it is what it is. Micro, I'm sure if you guys have played it, or even 8 minutes down in this video just from watching me play, you will have seen that there's lots of holes in the floor just randomly dotted about the map that you definitely can't fall down. It can definitely be a pain. However, once you get used to it, it's not too bad. You can use it to your advantage. But you guys, if you did watch my stream before when we were doing the 1000 level stream, I did play a couple games of nuke, with free-for-all going for nuke touts, and then I got one, and then the very next game, I was about to get 2 in a row, but I shot someone, and then they jumped off of the bridge on the map Hunted. He was 1 bullet from dying too, which was super unfortunate, but it didn't count towards my nuke. So I went 30-0, but didn't quite get nuked out, because, you know, the guy killed himself, which was super unfortunate. But that's just how it works. So if you guys have ever, you know, felt cheated by the game because the same sort of things happened to you and you didn't realize, you know, now you guys know. And that's why that happened. Now, when I first started playing this map, when the maps first dropped, I was playing with Coldside, Superior, and Ghost Ninja. Those are some of my friends from Doom. We were all playing together, just racing to see who could get nukes first on each map, and we all agreed we hated Micro. Now, I think this is because all of us were using assault rifles. I was using an M8, and that just isn't the way to play this map. So I'm sure you guys will have picked up by watching this video by now. And, you know, the second that I started swapping to the VMP and using that, I started having a lot more success, having a lot more fun on the map. And then that was just pretty much the best decision I've made in terms of, you know, these DLCs. Now, there's always, you know, a best tier of weapon to use at a certain point, in a certain map, on a certain game. Now, On this map, it's definitely to use the VMP. On Rupture, you want to use a sniper or an assault rifle, or what I was doing the other day was overkilling between a sniper and a sub, so you can cover all ranges, because it's a pretty weird map. There's parts where it's like the longest range map in the game, and then parts where it's really, really close range, because obviously there's hot spots within a map where people prefer to go. And then on Outlaw, definitely a sub map. You can use ARs if you decide you want to camp either end of the street or in a building somewhere, but rushing around aggressive with a sub definitely seems to work out better for me. And finally, Citadel, I definitely think that assault rifles are the way to go with that, as you will listen from some of my gameplays. However, if you do want to try and do that spawn trap and run around in the spawn a bit more, you can pretty much do that with whatever you want. Obviously, not the best to do it with the sniper, but you could get some dope feeds there, and you know, that's another thing you get with spawn traps. You can get some nice sniper clips as well. So yeah, speaking of sniping, obviously Infinite Warfare has been shown now, and I think the sniping in Infinite Warfare looks absolutely crazy. Now, a lot of you guys that are watching this video probably won't have watched my channel back in the Ghost days, but I really enjoyed sniping in Ghost. I made some montages and stuff, not proper things, but I really enjoyed it. I liked how it worked, and I was pretty good at it. Now, Pomage said that Ghost sniping is pretty similar to IW sniping. Now, if that's the case, obviously I'm going to be getting gameplays and doing the race and stuff next year. However, I'm probably, you know, in between that, going to get some sniper clips and, you know, probably try and put a montage together or maybe upload a gameplay, whatever you guys want to see, so let me know about that. But yeah, I'm definitely hyped up for that and very excited. But anyway, this video is coming to an end. I hope you did enjoy the gameplay. It was absolutely insane. I had to show you guys this, and I hope you enjoyed the commentary. If you did, drop a like. If you are new, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.